Nosferatu is a 2024 gothic horror film set in the 1800s. This movie is a remake of the 1922 film Nosferatu: A Symphony of Horror. Both are based on Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula. The movie stars Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, Nicholas Hoult and Lily Rose Depp as Thomas and Ellen Hutter, with a supporting cast of Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Willem Dafoe. Director Robert Eggers brings his usual style and ambiance to the film, which is to say, the immersion is done quite well. If you've seen his movie The Witch, the mood of the film feels quite similar to that, which I personally quite liked. I've never lived in 1800s Germany, but after watching the film, I can definitely say I have a better idea of what it might be like, barring everything on screen was historically accurate. The set design, acting, wordplay, they all do their part in immersing you in this film. I really enjoyed this movie for what it was, a monster movie. Standout performances of the film, for one, has to be Lily Rose Depp, who, be warned, does do a lot of body convulsions in the film, so if you're not into that, then I wouldn't recommend watching the movie because she does do quite a lot of body convulsions. Standout performance number two has to be Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, who, if you were to never look at the billing of the film, you would never know Bill Skarsgård played Count Orlok. You would just think it was some random guy or some maybe even CGI character playing Count Orlok. He really loses himself in the role of Count Orlok. I think he does a really great job bringing out the enigmatic nature of the role. So aside from the performances and the immersion of the film, I really liked the depiction of Count Orlok / Nosferatu itself. There's a certain sense of etherealness and mysticism to him that leaves you wanting more. You get a sense in the film that this is a much older version of Nosferatu. I would have really liked to see what the prime LeBron years of Nosferatu might have looked like, but what we get is still sufficient. I also like that the characters in this movie eventually find out what is tormenting their town, but none can do anything about it. This creates a sense of hopelessness and dread in the movie, which only boosts the imposing nature of Nosferatu. At the end, when you finally think they might come together like the Avengers and finally rid themselves of this evil, it is once again painted out to you that this isn't really going to do anything, with the actual solution being a lot more simple. This leads me to my major dislike of the movie. You can kind of always tell how it's going to end, or where it is going fairly early on into the movie. I desperately wanted something more to latch onto, and hoped for a twist of some kind, or some new piece of lore that made things more complex for all of our characters involved. But alas, this wasn't the case. Once you piece together how the film might end, the chances are you've got it all figured out. It's a pretty straightforward plot. In conclusion, the key strengths of the movie are the acting, the world building, and the monster of the film, with the letdown of the movie being how predictable the plot of the film is throughout the runtime. I still think you should go out and watch this movie whenever you can, because Robert Eggers is undeniably a director who makes beautiful films, and he always seems to get the best performances out of his actors. I give this movie a 7.7 out of 10.